Good morning. This is David Olshan of Nevada Legal Services. It is Thursday, May 6th, 2021, and this is your COVID-19 update. So let's talk a little bit about the job search requirement for PUA and regular unemployment. The Employment Security Division did promulgate emergency regulations that allow you to refuse work if the reason is related to COVID. You're not allowed to work remotely and you're at higher risk for contracting COVID. There's an unreasonable exposure to COVID at the place of employment, and you fall into one of the high-risk categories. You're staying at home to take care of a family member who is suffering from COVID, or you're staying home to take care of children who cannot attend school because of COVID. Keep in mind here in Clark County, that's not going to be a reason because the schools are opening up, but it is in the emergency regulations. Also, if you're 65 or older, you do have the ability to refuse work during this state of emergency. And finally, if your place of employment does not comply with local, state, or national safety standards related to COVID, you can refuse work. So let's talk about non-COVID related reasons for refusing work. You will have to consider what job is being offered, your prior training, your earnings history. So for instance, as I indicated before, if you're a plumber and there's a job opening for a carpenter, yes, you're not trained, you're not adequately ready to do that job, so you can refuse that work. Also, if the work is available because of a strike, lockout, or labor dispute, you can refuse. If the wages are substantially less favorable than the prevailing wage, you can refuse. And also if the job requires you to join a union or resign from a union. So those are some of the reasons why you can say no that aren't related to COVID. One of the things that came out yesterday was that the CDC moratorium, the nationwide eviction moratorium, was struck down by a federal court. Yes, this does have nationwide effect, but the Department of Justice is asking for a stay. That means there's not enforcement, no enforcement of the order while the appeal is going through the federal courts. So stay tuned, we will give you updates. Here in Nevada, you are protected until the end of May from eviction for non-payment and no cause. You just have to supply a declaration to your landlord. You don't have to worry about this nationwide CDC moratorium because you're protected here in Nevada. The declaration applies to you and you must provide it to the landlord if you have not been able to pay rent because of COVID, you lost a job, you have lower wages, or you have higher medical costs, and that prevented you from paying the rent. You're likely to be homeless or in shared housing if you are evicted, and you are lower income. $99,000 or less for a single person, a joint return $198,000 or less. If that applies to you, you can send the declaration to your landlord and you're protected. If you received a stimulus payment at all, you're protected, you're included in the declaration. Or if you have not been required to file taxes in 2019, you're protected. Again, stay tuned. This stay will be decided quickly and we will give you updates. We are Nevada Legal Services. If you want free legal assistance with an eviction or an unemployment issue, please do an online intake at nlslaw.net, and I will be back with more COVID-19 updates.